Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So this is one of your first times joining me. Welcome. I'm really glad that you have found me either through YouTube or through my Facebook page. One thing that you will need to do is be a member of my Facebook group, and the link is down below, whether you're in Facebook, the Facebook page, or you're on YouTube. But it's a Stampin' with Diane group. Because this is part of my technique series. Basically, every week I do a different technique, and sometimes I've been going back to really, really old techniques. And then what I do is, and I'll just jump on down to my desktop here, and then what I do is I go ahead and I write the instructions. It's out on a sheet of copy paper. You can copy this off, put your sample of the technique. I will have a picture of the card that I've done, and then I have the measurements and all the different information of the different product that we're going to be using today for this particular technique. Then what you can do is you can just put this into a 3-ring binder, attach your card, or attach a picture of a card that you've done with it. And then, like I say, this is something that we can do and keep it, because it's a really good referral to it. But it's only available in my Facebook group, which is right down below here, Stampin' with Diane Stampers group. And this is pre-recorded. I have done this before I left to go to Vienna because I didn't want to miss out on any of my techniques. So this is episode number 25. My goodness. And then tomorrow morning, what's going to happen at 9:05 Pacific time, hopefully that my scheduler and everything else works great, is this is going to be posted in that group that you can download. All right. So it's a stained glass with vellum technique. There's another really, really pretty technique that we could do stained glass with too. But let's start off. This one is a lot easier than the other technique. And we're going to use vellum today, and we're going to use our Stampin' Right markers. Too often we have these sitting in our craft room, and we haven't used them. So I just want you to dust them off, bring out your vellum, and we can have, I'll show you a really fun technique. Now, remember I had done an embossing technique a while back. When I told you I had done an embossing technique, the embossing technique just opens the doors for so many more techniques that you can do, and especially the stained glass with the vellum. All right, so I happen to have my cardstock all cut, and we are going to actually use the Cottage Rose, which is from Abigail Rose. We're going to use this and the dies. Just to let you know, coming up on Sunday, that's a deadline for the in-person classes or the club classes to go. I will be doing, but this is what I'm using, is the Abigail Rose, and it's really a nice, beautiful stamp set to go with it. If you already have some of the product with it, I'll put the link down below as well, with the link to the class. It's only good for people that are available in Canada, though, unfortunately. But if you wanted the PDF, you could purchase the PDF as well. All right, so Cottage Rose, beautiful set. We've got, I'm going to use, what beautiful colors these together, and that is going to be soft succulent. I've got this piece at 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. So I'll just go in and use my bone folder. And then I've got a piece of Petal Pink, and I ran this through the type worn embossing. And actually, this is quite funny. This is not type worn, but we're going to pretend it's type worn. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll do some of our other stamping on here. Now it looks like I'm missing one piece of cardstock, and we definitely need that other piece of cardstock. Okay, I've cut out one of those ovals from that framed florets. All right, but I do have lots of these littler pieces of the very vanilla. Now this piece is only the Oh, I know why I don't need it, because I'm going to actually do it with the vellum. Oh my goodness. You know, when you prep these cards so far in advance, sometimes what happens is you forget how to do them. All right, so this is the vellum. I'm going to set it with, or use my embossing buddy, and we're going to take out the anti-static from that. And now what we're going to need is we need our Versamark. And we are going to stamp this one here and this one. So let's just do this. Like I say, I'm just going to put that there. And the leaves were an afterthought. So I'm going to actually go ahead and I will stamp these leaves. You can't barely see it. So I can see where I've stamped it because I'm looking kind of at an angle. But let's just go ahead and we'll stamp that. And I'll come in and we're going to use gold embossing powder on here. Now, this does tend to be a little more staticky than normal. So I'm hoping I put on enough of that I rubbed it enough with the embossing buddy. All right, so we're just going to go in. And let's get the leaves done as well. Well, I must have done it fairly good. All right. Just going to go and flick that off. There's just a little piece there. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and heat set this. Now, when you're heat setting with vellum, you have to be very careful because it can warp. And so I like to actually heat vellum from the back side. But if it does start to like warp a little bit or anything like that, what you can do is come in from the top and then come in from the bottom again. But it works much better if you heat from the back side with the vellum. That way you're not going to overcook it. There we go. So see how quickly that one actually. There we go. All right. Then what I want to do is I want to show you something that I've done. Now I am going to go ahead and cut this out first, like I usually do. And the reason being for that is because I do not like it when I go and I cut it afterwards and then I miscut it. So I'm going to use my little cut and emboss with this. So I'm just going to come in and we're just going to put that on there like that. Now, another thing that I've done is I want to attach this onto this piece here. And this happens to be, I put adhesive sheets on here. And then when I go to take this part off, then I can attach it. When I go to cut this, this is going to be attached to the vellum. And then you're not going to see any of the adhesive lines with it. And you know what? I'm going to just cut this down just a bit. There we go. So like I say, I have the adhesive sheets there. I have this like this. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to come in with my cut and emboss machine, my mini, and we're just going to run this through. Should take that out of there. But I'm going to do this like this to begin with. And then we're also going to cut the leaves out. But I'm not going to worry about that part with the leaves because I'm just going to actually attach the leaves behind the piece that I'm using. So there's that one. Oh, that was silly. I didn't even... Ugh, I am losing it. All right. So this is the piece that what we want to do is we want to attach that onto there. So let me just take that off. And I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to take this off like this so that I can see where this goes. I'm going to attach that right like that. There we go. And let's try that again. Can't believe I did that. All right. So we're cutting through 3 layers. We have the vellum, we have the adhesive sheet, and we have the very vanilla cardstock. So I'm going to run it through a couple of times. There's that. And see, this is done exactly the same shape as that, but I didn't want to attach that right away. And then I have my other piece of vellum, and let's go in, and we are going to cut out the leaves out of there. So just bring in the leaves. Oops. Just like so. Don't have these attached yet to my my magnetic sheets, but I also went and cut these floret type things, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to use them, but I did cut them ahead of time. So let's just go put those away. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to use this, and we're just going to cut this piece out. Like I say, what we're going to be doing is the stained glass technique, but we need to prep this first before we can go ahead and get going on the technique. All right, let's just run that through. I could have done this ahead of time, but I did want you to see the bit with the adhesive sheet. And I think we're almost done with that now. Just put that in my tray. All right, so we have some of this stuff here. We have our card. We have an oval because we're going to go ahead and put the oval on there too. And also I'm going to go ahead and put on some of this. This is the pale papaya ribbon, and we're actually going to color that with our stamping blend. All right, so this is how we're going to do this technique now. Whoops, I see a bit of that tape on there. Let's get that off. Okay, so this is the right side. So what you want to do is you want to turn it over, and then we're going to go in with the brush end, which is this end here, and we're going to just color onto the back. We can go over the lines, but we don't want to go out over the outside lines. Now, you could do this with your stamping blends, and I do have that as a technique. However, when you lift with vellum, when you lift your ink, your the blend up, what happens is it leaves a line. Now, this happens to be Calypso Coral. And we're just going to do just a tiny bit here. This isn't going to show that much. But check out the other side. Is that not pretty? See how it works? And it looks like stained glass. All right, and then we're going to go in with our soft succulent, and we'll color the leaves. Now, originally I was going to try to go in to get some definition with the evening evergreen, but I didn't like how it looked. That's how simple this technique really is. The other technique takes just a bit more. I think once we get a little bit more with the embossing, there's just something that you have to do a little bit different with the embossing on there. So there we have that. And we're just going to go in and do the back side again. Remember, you can go up to the lines, but you do not want to go outside of the lines. Just like that. All right. So now, as we know, is our what happens with our see how that looks? So pretty. So what happens when we put vellum onto paper is it does tend to show. So I went and I put this adhesive sheet onto the back here. We're just going to lift it up. And then we're going to place this vellum over top of it. Now this is probably the trickiest part of the whole works. I probably should have just taken off parts of it. There. And then that's just going to go on there. And then this way, what I can do is I can pop this up off of the I can use dimensionals on the back part of this, and you won't see any of that there. So I'm just going to come in and we're going to attach our ribbon. I'm actually going to do a faux bow on this. Off to one side. All right. Now, I did say I was going to go in and I was going to use my Stampin' Blends. And what I want to do is I just want to color this so that it's got more of a pink tone than the yellow tone to it. And I should have done it with the petal pink instead. All right, so I'll just cut that piece off. So if you like this, give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate it. I don't know, we might need to have some more on there. So I'm just going to come and put this here. So. Now what we also want to do is we want to go in and reinforce that once we've got it straight. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to reinforce this. Like that. Now this can go onto the front of this card here. But we'll just leave that for the time being. This oval is going to go on here, but I was thinking that these would be really kind of nice to put behind here. Maybe just the petal pink. Yeah, the petal pink will be just good. All right, so we're just going to put a tiny bit of glue behind there. Looks like there's a bit of a dark mark there, so that's the reason why I'm going to put that off to the side. I love these ovals from the framed florets. Going to be using them a lot. Okay. And you know what? We'll have this come down here. So that's just going to go like that. Just give us a bit of definition there. This is going to pop up here. And we're going to go ahead and put this behind here as well. There we go. So I can put this now by putting dimensionals on the back here. You're not going to actually see them because I put them onto that sheet, right? This is so pretty. You know, the unfortunate part is you don't really see this that much. You know what? I'm going to do one more. That's a bit of overkill. I know that, but let's just go here. There we go. This is just going to go down here. No, this should be going like this. There we go. Just like that. Let's go ahead and put that underneath there. But we can put glue on this because it's going to be behind. Be quite creative when you play with vellum. All right, so we have that like that. And like I said, I wanted to kind of do a faux bow. So I'm actually going to have to come back in here and just do up a bit more of this. I usually just color that just a little bit as we go. So I'm just going to come in here. We're just going to tie a knot in it, and that's called a faux bow. Now I want it to go this way, and then we can just trim that part off. I'm going to go like this. Whoops, it goes like this. We can slide that. And like I say, that just gives us a tiny bit of, this part here just gives us a tiny bit. I'm going to actually move that down just a bit. And then it can go like this. And now, you know what? I'm going to pop that up as well. Now, I could go ahead and put a sentiment on the front of this. I don't know what I want this for. So my whole thought process was maybe I will leave it and just put the sentiment on the inside. But then I thought, you know what, I could just quickly do a really easy sentiment on there. So I have this, and it's just a scrap piece. And you know what? I think this best wishes might be the best thing to do on there. We're going to emboss this because I think it needs to be gold as well. We're going to use that embossing buddy. Just quickly stamp that with the Versamark. And what we can do is we can fussy cut that out. Just going to have to come in with another smaller brush. That brush isn't small enough. There we go. Oops. There we go. Sometimes you have to doctor it up quite a bit like that. There we go. And this can go right. You know what? I don't really want that to be fussy cut, I don't think. Just come in here and we're just going to cut this part. And a little bit off this side as well. There we go. And that can go right like that. So what we're going to do is put dimensionals just on that one side there. So the best ones to use for here would be those strips. I probably have one with strips on it in here. No, whoops, I do have one with the strips in there. Oops. Just going to put that right along there. Take that part off. And we're just going to put a tiny bit of, whoops. I put it on upside down. I don't know if that's going to work now. I'm taking that off. And we'll use the other part of the strip on the other side. Always double check. All right, there we go. Now that is just going to have a tiny bit of glue right there. And that's what's going to pop it up to that level. Just like so. This is a very pretty card in real life. I sure hope that you can see that because it's so pretty. And then, of course, the elegant faceted gems are the best gems to use on this. I'm going to go ahead and use these ones. And we're going to put them right up here. One there as well. And then maybe a little more one. Just like there. There we go. All right. So there is the stained glass vellum. Here's the one that you can see without that background behind there, which looks very, very pretty, but you need to have that part on there to make it look stained glass, and so that it can attach. So there's the card, and I hope that you enjoyed that. Don't forget, give me the thumbs up, share my video. If you do live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator if you're not working with somebody already. In any event, you guys have a great day, and I will answer these comments on there afterwards. Bye for now.